I'm often asked what I would do if I was to start out copywriting all over again. So that's what I'm going to do in this video. I'm going to be a whole no holds barred video, and I'm going to share exactly what I would do if I was starting completely from scratch in 2025 and wanted to learn copywriting, because that's a question I get a lot from people who are either thinking about getting started or they're actually currently in the trenches getting started, and maybe they just need a bit of direction. So I would going to give you my step-by-step blueprint for getting started with copywriting, all the way from learning, all the way from landing your first client. So if you're new around here, my channel is all about copywriting and helping aspiring and beginner copywriters learn copywriting and get their first client. So if you're new around here, consider subscribing, and there's some useful links in the description below. Now, way back when I first started copywriting, I actually didn't really know it was a thing. I stumbled across copywriting quite literally. I was in a mastermind, an online mastermind for personal trainers and online fitness businesses and coaches. And there was a training in this mastermind about copywriting. And I was like, what the hell is this? Is this something to do with like legal stuff and people copying other people's products and stuff? But it's nothing to do with that, obviously. So I watched this masterclass on copywriting and was like instantly hooked on the potential I could see it could have, and how it would actually help me work remotely and actually just have a fun and enjoyable way to make an income. That's really what I want, and I hope that's why you're watching this video. That's what you want as well. So first step, I was like this consumer of copywriting. I literally devoured everything to do with copywriting. So I have a ton of books downstairs on my bookshelf, like hundreds of books on copywriting and marketing, advertising, just consumed absolutely everything. Listened to podcasts, watched a lot of YouTube videos, bought some courses as well to try and get some direction as to, where to start and how to actually go about this copywriting thing, because I had like no knowledge of what I was doing when I first started. And I was in this consumer phase for maybe 3 or 4 weeks, which I think you could probably slash that down a little bit more now. And I looking back, I wish I'd actually turned a lot more of that consumption into more action taking, rather than just believing that if I was consuming this information on copywriting that I would just randomly become a good copywriter. Now I know it doesn't work like that. You have to turn that consumption into action at some point, which is where a lot of people get really scared. So what I did then was I started practicing copywriting. So I was consuming all this copywriting, starting to learn like what good copywriting was, and you start to see it in the real world and online, and how businesses apply copywriting to grow their sales, get more clients, and just get people to take action generally, because that's what copywriting is. It's essentially just persuasion through the written word. And you literally see it in every walk of life, be it outside, in public places, actually in the real world, or in this digital space that we live in as well. You see it everywhere, from Instagram captions to YouTube titles, blog post titles, Facebook ads, email subject lines to get you to click and open, to how something is structured and people get you to read things. So yeah, I was just fascinated by that. But I knew at some point I had to turn that consumption into action. And I started to split my time between consumption and actually writing copy. So I actually invested in a course which was called the Copy Hour. That was the first course I ever bought. And it was essentially where you'd get an email every single day, and it would get you to write out by hand in a notepad with a pen and paper a successful piece of ad copy. And although this sounds a bit weird, and I don't do this anymore, but when I first started, the actual activity of physically writing successful copy out does something with your psyche and your brain, and you start to really understand and internalize like what good copy actually is, how things are structured. And it's a really good way of learning. So I did that for 90 days, I think, straight, every single day for an hour. I'd wake up at like 5, 6 in the morning. I'd get this email from Derek Johansson, I think his name was, and I would just write. I was super passionate about it, did all the activities he told me to do, and felt like that really improved my skill. But I still hadn't made much progress in terms of getting a paid client. I was still in this consumption learning phase of being a copywriter, but I was doing work. I was writing copy on my daily, felt like I was improving my skills. So that was a thumbs up for me. And then was the scary part. So I started having to make the realization that, look, if I wanted to make this business a reality and actually build a freelance business where I could have the freedom to work whenever and wherever I wanted, I'd have to start reaching out and getting clients. So that for me was a process of cold email DMs, and I did a lot of Facebook networking at the time. So Facebook groups, when I first started copywriting 7 years ago, was very big Facebook groups. And I just put myself in positions where I was surrounded by the people I wanted to write for. So there was a lot of local businesses, a lot of British entrepreneurs, people who already had products they were selling, especially digital products. And I was in these Facebook groups just interacting with people and just building relationships. Like nothing fancy, just putting myself out there and putting myself in positions which was quite scary to begin with. Because I'm a naturally a really introverted person. I actually am quite closed off. I'm quite a quiet person, even though I'm actually on YouTube right now, which doesn't make any sense at all. But yeah, I was quite an introverted person, still am. But put myself out there because I knew that's the only way that this would work. So started to do little jobs for people, one-off jobs for personal trainers, where I was writing sales pages and landing pages for like £100, which was, looking back now, was like crazy because I would never do that now. But the thing is, I was getting experience with actual clients, and I was getting experience of what it was like to work with a client as a copywriter. It didn't really matter to me at the time what I was charging. I mean, I was earning a lot of money for how old I was and how I felt, but I was actually doing a lot of work in terms of hours I was putting in. But I was learning a lot. I was learning the whole process of like how to get a client, how to onboard them, the offer to give them, and then how to fulfill a client and get results to them. And results was the biggest thing for me. Like I was really adamant of getting results and case studies from clients. So when you're first starting out, or any stage of your journey, you should always be gathering case studies and testimonials to prove that you are a shit hot copywriter and you can do what you say you can do. That's the biggest thing, because once you have case studies, that makes the selling process almost just non-existent, because you don't have to sell. You just have to tell people, look, I've got this offer. Are you interested in it? Yes or no? I've helped these people do it. I can probably help you do the same. Whereas in the beginning, when you've got no clients or hardly any experience with clients, it's like a chicken and egg situation. Like, how do you get a client with no experience, and then how do you get experience without a client? And for me, that obviously came down to doing my own handwriting every day as part of the Copy Hour course. But I was also building out this thing that I got from Ali Abdaal called the Permissionless Apprenticeship. And I would go out and I would literally just look at people's funnels. I would opt into people's email lists. I would just go out my own way to find out what people were already doing. And I would look at their copy, look at their funnels, look at their sales pages and Facebook ads and think, well, how can I write this better? How can I improve the headline on this? How would I get more people to see this? And I would build out my own fake portfolio doing that. And that was like how I built a portfolio. So if I was on a phone call with a client about who wanted to maybe be a potential client of mine, and they asked, do you have any examples of your work? I had this Google Drive of just examples that I'd written. And I was really transparent with people. I would say, look, like, I actually don't have a client yet, but I have written these. I am quite hardworking. I am really passionate about becoming a great copywriter. And to me, the work ethic like that is way more valuable to a business owner or a personal brand or somebody who wants to hire a copywriter than just somebody who has flat out pure results but like no personality as a person. Like, I personally think having a personality, being just a genuine human being, is way more valuable than someone who is just a complete dick and isn't great to work with but has some good results. Like, I would rather have the person who has a great personality, is a great genuine person, is very passionate about what they do, but they also can get great results as well. I'd rather have that package for sure. So I did focus quite hard on that. And obviously when I was starting to put myself out there in Facebook groups and just get around different people, I got invited to quite a few in-person events where, again, I started to build really good friendships and relationships with people who introduced me to their network. So then you, just by doing that and being around people, you expose yourself to a huge pool of people who want copywriters. And remember that copywriting is literally a skill that, well, I believe it's the most valuable skill anybody can learn, hands down. It's a skill of communication that everybody should learn, regardless of whether you want to be a copywriter or not. I think it's so valuable. And then, where was I? I've lost my train of thought. But we'll just keep going. Copywriting being the most valuable skill you can learn. I then actually stumbled again randomly. You just put yourself in the right position. Somebody took me on and wanted me to look after their whole email marketing side of the business, which was for an online coaching company. And that's generally who I used to write for. I used to do a lot of email marketing for people who sold digital courses and products and coaching and consulting and things like that. And we would send emails out pretty much every single day to customers and people who hadn't bought our products yet. So we would have to craft different campaigns over like a number of days or weeks, which I found really fun because you can have a lot of fun with writing fun emails. Like my emails were very much like conversational. I was doing what was called ghostwriting. So I was writing in the style of the person who owned the business. So over a couple of weeks, couple of months, I actually developed this skill for writing in other people's voices, which is like, that is really valuable to people. And like I said before about copywriting it's going to be around as long as businesses are around. As long as people are selling things and communicating with other humans, there's going to be a need for copywriter. So never think copywriting is too saturated, because it's just not. That's just bullshit. I think that's an excuse people use to not get started. So don't fall into that trap. So I got a lot of my clients just through networking in person, but I also use a lot of Instagram DM. That to me was, and still is, a great platform to start conversations with people. And that's all we're doing with this. It's nothing fancy or secret or magic. We just want to reach out to people and start conversations. And that's why I prefer doing Instagram DM versus cold email. Because if somebody lands in my email inbox and I don't know them, I literally have this red flag straight away, like, who's this person? Why are they contacting me? Whereas Instagram DM, people go on there to be social. So you can get social with other people. And then if a conversation progresses and they're interested in what you do and stuff, and they're more interested in your copywriting, then you can transfer them over to email and start a professional conversation over there on the offer that you have and how you can actually help them. That's how I do it now. And I generally found my clients through either Instagram or YouTube. YouTube, look for people who are teaching something. They're educating their audience. So don't look for channels like Mr. Beast, who are a purely entertainment channel. Look for people who are teaching a skill. Like this channel is mainly teaching people about copywriting. Well, it is teaching people about copywriting or making money on the internet, right? Those are skills. And there's so many channels on YouTube. There's almost an unlimited amount of channels, literally, of people teaching skills who are already selling a product. They already have an email list of people who are ready to buy the product. You just need to come in there, look at what they're already doing, and figure out ways that you can improve what they're doing. So it's as simple as that. Obviously, simple doesn't mean easy, but that's as simple as the process needs to be. A lot of people overcomplicate it, but that's what I would do when I was first starting out. Now, I would also price myself. Let's talk about pricing, because that's like a sticking point for some people. Pricing. Now, when you're first starting out, you've no idea what to charge. I would don't set your prices too low to start with, but also you're not going to be at a point where you can charge premium prices. So just set a number, and the number I would usually suggest people start with is around £2,000 a month or dollars. Just replace the currency wherever you're watching this. And if it's email marketing you want to do, then offer a package that is 3 emails a week for $2,000 a month. Real simple. Nothing any more confusing than that. Until you start getting results, then you can increase your prices dramatically from there. Just increase it as your confidence increases. That's the big thing. Because when you're starting, some people will struggle with charging high prices because they'll have this like imposter syndrome. It's like, I'm not worth that much. I've only just started. But trust me, if you target the right business owners who are making money already from their products, which is important, you want somebody who already is selling a product and already has an audience. Hiring $2,000 to a good copywriter to begin with isn't a massive expense for them, really, if you produce results and you have good work ethic, which I hope you do watching this video. But that's what I would do to start with, and then you can obviously start increasing your prices as you start to get better results with clients. You can also maybe offer them or ask if they'd be interested in a revenue share model. So this is basically like paying per performance. So if your emails and your copy performs and produces more sales, then you should be entitled to more money, or a portion of that money that your emails have produced. So that's another thing you can do. And then obviously that's almost a win-win for the business owner, because they won't be paying as much if your copy doesn't perform. So it kind of like works out in both ways, and it's a way of you showing your confidence in how good you are at your copywriting. But pricing, just start with where you feel comfortable at and just increase it as you grow. As you start to get fully booked with clients as well, increase your prices so then you're never fully booked. And for somebody who is fully booked, you can just basically tell straight away they're too cheap. That's just how it is. It's way too cheap. And then obviously if you're not fully booked, there's people who are going to drop off. You're not going to have as many clients to fulfill, but you're going to be earning more money and you'll be working less as well, which is I hope what you want. Because I don't want to be sat slaving away at a computer for my whole entire day or my life. Like, I would love to have a really well balanced lifestyle where I can work a couple of hours a day or just pick and choose when I want to work and have the freedom and flexibility to do what I want to do, which is mountain biking, motocross, just live in the outdoors, but have the flexibility to work from whenever and wherever I want, which is I'm sure what most people want. I don't know why someone would want to be constrained to like an office cubicle, not being able to do what they want every single day. That's my goal anyway. That's why I put this video together. And you just grow from there. That's what I would do, but it takes consistency. It's not going to happen overnight, because a lot of people watch these videos on YouTube, and I feel there's a lot of gurus out there and other people teaching copywriting, and they make these like fake promises that entice people in and think that this is going to happen overnight. I want to be transparent and say, look, I will give you the roadmap to being a copywriter and doing whatever you want to achieve with copywriting, landing your first few clients and beyond, and helping you scale up your business and create the lifestyle you want. But I'm telling you now, it's not going to happen overnight. It's the action of consistent daily work towards your goal that's the fastest way to get to where you want to be. It's not some magical DM that you can send that will just make everything easy or anything. It's not. Showing up every day and doing the boring work. And I can tell you what the work is to do through like a roadmap. And that's in my community, in my course, if you're interested. But it doesn't matter if you get your information from me or somebody else. But you just need a roadmap to follow, and you just show up every single day, regardless of how long that is that you show up for. If you can only afford right now half an hour in your day, then just do that. Half an hour a day over a month. How many? 15 hours a month, I believe, which is insane. 15 hours of focused work a month for half an hour a day. I think that's right. My maths in my head. I'm not very good at maths, like just on the spot. But that's what I would do. If I was starting out as a copywriter, that's exactly how I would do things, right? And if you are interested in joining my community, this is the Copy Club. Below you can get a 7-day free trial where you can jump in. We do live weekly Q&As. I can review your copy. We can have a good conversation in there. There's people in there who are completely beginner copywriters who have never written a word in their life. There's people who are in there who've written copy, who've got clients, and they are just in there to refine their skills. All the coaching material is in there. My course is also below as well. But if you've got any questions on this and you're stuck at any point, please do let me know. I'm here to help you guys out and help you get momentum. And there'll be some videos up here which YouTube recommends you should watch next.